a Josh Crestron integration. So you provide it some information right here in these fields, and then once we've connected to Josh, we'll give you this information. The most important one is Josh begin connection. That's you telling us when to start looking for a Josh system on the network. Generally, you'll want to latch this high using an SR latch that comes from program start on your processor for the appropriate slot. And you can kind of see what we do for that in the demos. You also want to provide the controller version. That way we can help with debugging, or you can debug your systems remotely more easily. That'll come from the system information block. Just don't forget to pass a 1 into report firmware version. So you set this high and hold it high as long as you want the Crestron modules to be looking for a Josh on the system. Once we have found and connected to a Josh on the system, we will set this high and hold it high as long as that connection remains valid. We'll also tell you the IP address of the Josh system, the software version of the server, and the unique ID of that server. To initialize future modules, you'll take the signal that we send out here and you'll pass it into a stepper, and then you'll use that stepper to initialize your various modules in the order that I outline in the documentation. The most important thing is if you're doing AV stuff, the sources have to be initialized before the rooms, and you need to make sure there's an appropriate delay after the last source init before the first room init, depending on the speed of your processor and what else is going on, to ensure that everything's settled so you don't get warnings. The final thing I'll touch on is the debug mode. I kind of outline what this means in the text, but essentially you say how much information you want to come out in the Crestron console. At all of these levels, errors like programming errors on your part or potential errors from our part, those will all surface at every level. Basic will mostly just tell you the errors. Warnings will give you a little bit of additional information. Oftentimes warnings are just kind of side effects of errors. Info will tell you when some devices are toggling and stuff. Debug will tell you most of what's going on logically, and verbose debug will give you everything, including all the network spam. You generally don't want to do this, and I generally like to leave my system on warning.